TomoNews presents Road Trips Gone Wrong.
Johnny, Sally, stop your bickering right now. So help me God.
Guy scares the bejesus out of friend with chainsaw prank. Tom and his best friend Marius were on a road trip from Norway to Sweden on Sunday. When they decided to stop at the side of the road to rest. Tom waited until Marius fell asleep, then he stuck behind the trunk and pulled out a chainsaw. The chainsaw, of course, doesn't have a blade, but Marius doesn't know this. Marius said he thought he was going to die until he realized it was his friend Tom. Marius told Norway's Dagbladet newspaper that he plans to get revenge on Tom. He says he already has some ideas, but he's welcome to suggestions from other people.
On the evening of November 20th, 1970, three friends from Sayre, Oklahoma were heading to a football game in Jimmy Williams' new Camaro. They were never seen again and no one knows what happened. But then 2 weeks ago, some Oklahoma highway patrolmen were doing some training on Lake Foss with new sonar equipment and they found something 12 feet below the surface. 2 cars. They pulled them up to find a 1957 Chevy and what seems to be Jimmy's white top. And there were human remains inside both vehicles. 3 bodies were found in the Camaro and 3 bodies were found in the Chevy, which police think once belonged to Al V. Porter, who is believed to have disappeared in 1969. The identities of the other 2 bodies are still unknown. News of the findings prompted internet users in the area to speculate as to how the vehicles ended up at the bottom of the lake. Some noted that a stretch of road near the discovery site could have been dangerous, especially at high speeds or in bad weather.
At least 14 people were killed when a tourist bus plunged into a deep ravine in the Philippines on Friday. The fatal accident took place in Bontoc, a mountainous region in the northern Philippines. A tourist bus with 47 passengers on board departed from the Sampaloc terminal in Manila. The bus was traveling on a narrow road up a mountain around 7:20 a.m. when it suddenly veered off and fell into a 500-meter deep ravine. The bus crash resulted in at least 14 deaths and 31 injuries. A Canadian and a Dutch national were among the dead. Filipino authorities said the accident was caused by human error or mechanical failure.
School bus hits mighty moose. Ouch! Dashcam video from Sørvik, Troms, Norway shows the moment a moose is hit by a bus. The driver of the bus said they passed one moose standing alongside the road, and then another moose just ran out and... Wow! That moose just got smoked by a school bus and then walked it off like a champ. Let's see that again. The moose enters the screen on the lower right. There's not much the bus driver could have done to avoid the impact. The moose narrowly misses being hit by the oncoming car, but we're pretty sure it would have caused more damage to the vehicle than the animal. Nobody on the bus was injured. You know, it almost looks like the moose was either on a suicide mission or was trying to score some sort of insurance claim. What do you think?
Dog named Trigger shoots owner on hunting trip. Dogs make great hunting companions. They can track an animal's scent, trap them up a tree, or flush them out from an underbrush. But on Saturday, 25-year-old Allie Carter of Avila, Indiana wasn't so lucky when she took her 11-year-old chocolate lab, Trigger, out for a hunt. They were reportedly hunting waterfowl at the Tri-County Fish and Wildlife Area in North Webster, about 140 miles north of Indianapolis. Trigger must have felt bad for the poor birds they were hunting because when Carter put down her 12-gauge shotgun to reposition herself, he stepped on the gun and shot her in the foot at point-blank range with birdshot pellets. Carter only had an apprentice hunting license and had never taken a hunter education course. She was treated at 2 hospitals before being released and she won't face any charges. Van belonging to missing Australian surfers found burned in Mexico with 2 corpses inside. Families of 2 Australian surfers who went missing in Mexico 10 days ago are waiting for DNA test results to know whether bodies found in their burned-out van are those of the missing men. Australian surfers Adam Coleman and Dean Lucas registered a van in Edmonton, Canada, and planned to drive it to Guadalajara, Mexico on a road trip. They were last seen in the drug cartel stronghold of Sinaloa State. According to Mexican authorities, their last confirmed sighting was 10:30 p.m. on November 20th, when they disembarked the ferry from the Mexican state of Baja California to Topolobampo in Sinaloa State. Dean Lucas also sent a text message to his girlfriend Josie Cox on November 20th. The men were scheduled to meet Coleman's girlfriend, Andrea Gomez, in Guadalajara on November 21st. On November 21st, in Navolato, 124 miles south of Topolobampo, a citizen report of an abandoned vehicle led police to the van. Its serial number matched the one registered to Adam Coleman. It was burned beyond recognition and the number plates were missing. 2 corpses in the van could not be identified by sight. DNA from the bodies has been sent to the National Forensics Laboratory for identification. The men's girlfriends have both arrived in Sinaloa State to supply hair and dental records to aid in identifying the men. Results of the tests have not yet been released. Coleman and Lucas are not suspected to have been involved in any illegal activity. Sinaloa State is home to the drug cartel of the same name, led by fugitive kingpin Joaquin El Chapo Guzman.
Chilean cyclist close to breaking Guinness record killed in Thailand. A Chilean man who was months away from finishing a world record-breaking cross-continental cycling trip was killed Saturday in a road accident in Thailand. Chilean cyclist Juan Francisco Guillermo embarked on a round-the-world cycling trip in November 2010. His Singaporean wife and 2-year-old son were accompanying him at the time of the accident. A pickup truck was reportedly speeding while traveling along Mit-Trap Hap Road, a highway in northeastern Thailand. The vehicle hit the Chilean cyclist, who was killed instantly. The bike was totally destroyed. The pickup truck fell into a ditch and overturned. The 64-year-old driver was not hurt, while Guillermo's wife and son suffered slight injuries. Guillermo's cycling trip was scheduled to end in November. A British couple on a similar round-the-world cycling trip was also killed in Thailand 2 years ago.
A speeding dump truck crashed head-on into a school bus in southern Pakistan on Wednesday, killing at least 17 children. The busload of school children was travelling in Sindh province on the way back home following a school trip in Nawab Shah. A loaded dump truck was travelling in the opposite direction on a single-track road. The driver appeared to be speeding, and witnesses said the truck rammed into the school bus. At least 17 children and 3 adults were killed in the collision. The police have filed a case against the driver, who fled the scene but was later arrested.
Tour bus rolls off hill in Japan, killing 14 and injuring 27 others. Officials are investigating a crash in central Japan that caused the deaths and injuries of dozens of tourists when their tour bus rolled off a mountain road. An overnight bus carrying a group of holidaymakers left Tokyo Thursday evening for a ski resort in northern Nagano Prefecture. The accident occurred on National Route 18 in Karuizawa early Friday morning, with the bus carrying 41 passengers, including 2 drivers. The vehicle was on a downward slope when it veered to the opposite side of the road and broke through the guardrail. It fell 3 meters into the forest, smashing into trees on the way down. The bus landed on its right side, its front window shattered, and portions of it badly deformed. 14 people were killed, including the 2 drivers, and 27 others injured. Roads were not icy and there was no snow on the ground at the time of the incident, prompting investigators to consider possible negligent driving, especially after the trip itinerary reveals the crash site was not part of the bus's route.
Goosenecking driver causes second crash on highway. It's a good idea to keep your eyes firmly fixed to the road, regardless of what's happening on the other side of the lane divider. Lucky for these 2 drivers in Taiwan, police and paramedics were already on site. Earlier in the evening, 2 sand trucks had collided and flipped as they were attempting to change lanes to use the exit. A long-haul bus driver was too busy watching the wreck from the other side of the highway, and he rear-ended the small delivery truck in front of him. A sedan driver following the bus was also unable to take his eyes off the wreck on the other side of the highway and noticed the crash in his own lane too late. The sedan driver clipped the edge of the delivery truck and crashed into the lane divider. Unfortunately, a 40-year-old driver of one of the sand trucks died as a result of his injuries. The 2 accidents closed down the highway for nearly an hour.
Aussie cops rescue British woman held as sex hostage. A 22-year-old British backpacker was reportedly beaten and raped by her Australian ex-boyfriend while she was held captive for more than 2 months on a road trip from hell. The woman met the suspect, also aged 22, in January at an outdoor dance party near the northeastern city of Cairns. They became romantically involved, but friends of the victim said the man was a clingy boyfriend who latched on to the first single woman who crossed his path. Just 1 week after they'd met, the alleged attacker changed his Facebook status to married. Sadly, that big red flag was a sign of more sinister events to come, as the couple set off on a road trip in a white Mitsubishi four-wheel drive. For 2 months, the victim was apparently brutalized on a hellish 1,000-mile journey through the Australian outback. Salvation finally came on Sunday, however, when the woman visited a gas station in the Queensland town of Mitchell. Showing visible signs of having been attacked, the woman left the gas station without paying. But before she left, she spoke to this gas station attendant. The woman said the victim seemed in a state of shock and explained that she couldn't afford to pay. The attendant called the cops, who pulled the white Mitsubishi over shortly afterward. Police found the alleged attacker hiding in a secret compartment in the back of the vehicle. He's been charged with 4 counts of rape, 8 counts of assault, 4 counts of strangulation, 2 counts of deprivation of liberty, and possession of drugs. Bus full of kids overturns in major accident. A bus carrying school children from Philadelphia was hit by a car yesterday, causing it to overturn on a highway in Maryland. 30 people were injured. A charter bus carrying 26 children and 3 chaperones crashed on Interstate 95 in Maryland on Monday morning. The accident was reportedly caused by another car that was behind the bus. The car moved around the left side of the bus and apparently lost control, clipping the front of the bus. The bus went off the road, struck an embankment, and overturned. The driver of the car that caused the crash has been interviewed by police and may face charges. Bus plunges into ravine in Indonesia. 6 people died when this tour bus hurtled off the road in Indonesia on Sunday afternoon. The passengers were mostly elementary school teachers who were heading out for a road trip with their families. Some 28 passengers were aboard the bus, which was traveling from East Java to a waterfall in Central Java. According to reports, the accident was caused by technical problems with the bus's brakes, combined with tricky road conditions. Heading downhill and on a sharp curve, the driver couldn't control his speed. The bus hit the central reservation and then plunged 15 meters into the ravine. 6 passengers were killed and dozens more suffered severe injuries in the crash. Rescue teams struggled to evacuate the injured passengers due to the treacherous conditions, but the survivors were eventually taken to the hospital for treatment.